An outgrowth of that Entrepreneurship Hall program is our next presenters, the Contemporary.
Is everyone ready? Everybody good? Okay, great. Please raise your hand if you're a little stressed about the 2016 presidential election cycle. I thought so. You're definitely not alone. In fact, the American Psychological Association reported that while stress about the 2016 presidential election is statistically bipartisan, it is notably different across different generations. We millennials report the second highest stress levels, and for good reason. It is because the decision the American public makes tomorrow will substantially impact our futures. And in today's deeply fragmented political and news environment, there must be a platform that brings together these sentiments, allows undergrads the opportunity to be thought leaders on the most pressing issues, and channels their anxieties into action. That's what the Contemporary is doing. And we're building a platform that reaches across different universities around the United States and around the world to bring the next generation of thought leaders in business, academia, and government into one platform. Our goal is to bring them all together so that they can hone their voice on a national profile level and allow all of our readers to gain a new, fresh perspective from the undergraduate lens. That means that we're growing to several different universities every single month, and we're trying to increase our reach substantially. Our editorial philosophy is that political engagement occurs at the center and not just on the left or the right. In practice, that means that we ensure that our writers try to address the opposition, empathize with them, and also try to persuade them. In practice, this means that we ensure that we have a new dialogue that changes the contours of political discussion in the United States. And that means that we're trying to exploit a market that is currently super undervalued in the media market, and that is civil bipartisan dialogue. Even though our market consists of millennials and we're trying to ensure that we appeal to the millennial generation, we're trying to make sure that our platform appeals to people of all different generations. And because we have people from 11 different universities around the country and 15 columnists, we have a unique ability to do that. In addition, we've been interviewing prominent thought leaders from around the country, including the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Martin Dempsey, and the first openly gay NFL football player, Michael Sam. And given the fact that millennials already pay, about on a 40% basis, 40% of millennials already pay for a new subscription, we see an opening to provide a fresh perspective in a very financially sustainable way. Even though companies like the Tab and the Odyssey have a similar model, they have very different editorial standards and don't have the same quality insight and analysis that we try to ensure.
Let me give you a brief roadmap of our journey as a team. We have a team of talented individuals from a diverse array of backgrounds, skill sets, and fields of study. We have the privilege of being advised by professors from the religion and political science departments here on campus, as well as the mentorship that we've received from the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship here at Trinity. This summer, we did experience mild turnover within our team, but it made us stronger as a result. We've learned how to communicate through communication styles, utilize each other's strengths in advantageous ways, and to remain professional and focused in the face of adversity. We've made several pivots, including from our print model, which we originally pitched for. We decided to move to a digital platform through survey and research. And we also made choices within our legal entity. Behind me, you'll see just some, okay, you will see some point. Just some, when it gets there. You'll see just some of the people and the organizations that we've discussed with and have been advised by to help us realize which business would fit our strategic direction best. Through this process, we explored multiple options. First, we began exploring if our idea would fit under Trinity University, but after talking with several on-campus publications, we realized that our interests did not align. Next, we began exploring if we could be a nonprofit independent of Trinity University. The ethos of nonprofits really appealed to us, but we realized several drawbacks. Being sustained on donations and memberships alone is difficult for an organization without deep ties to the community. Additionally, the cumbersome legal requirements necessary for a nonprofit could hinder our ability to deliver the best independent content possible. That's why we finally decided on becoming a for-profit benefit corporation. This conclusion has been well vetted and researched and discussed by the advised people, or the people that we've been advised by. It was a bit of a time-consuming process in deciding what our legal entity would be, but we exhausted all options and leaving a very clear path forward for what's best for the contemporary.
We believe in sustainably generating public discourse, which is why a benefit corporation fits us best. We know that undergraduates, young professionals, and the general public will want to subscribe to our content because people want to read the content of their peers and understand what's going on college campuses. Further, we provide accessible, high-quality, and balanced news content within a deeply polarized news world. Therefore, we have several potential revenue streams. First, we will establish contracts with universities for limited access to our platform by charging a low fixed rate per student. This will make our content easily accessible, competitive, and visible to potential premium subscribers. Such contracts will be attained by capitalizing on our columnist network and by proving demand for our product on college campuses with survey data. We will secure these contracts through university libraries and departments. Second, for our yearly premium subscriptions, we have developed a 3-tier model based on market research and media subscription costs. That includes undergraduates, young professionals, and the general public. Our action plan is centered on a launching event to announce our work, sell subscriptions, and connect with sponsors. This will provide the foundation to reach our 3-year goals of securing 75 university contracts and more than 16,000 subscriptions. By the end of our 3rd year, we expect total revenue of $337,000 and our total profit of $258,000. Finally, our long-term model involves connecting with sponsors who have an identity interest in promoting civic engagement. We will also sell data on the interests of students, alumni, and millennials to relevant news organizations and other corporations. We will license our content to larger publications, and finally, we will host events with notable thought leaders across the country. In order to achieve all these goals, we're requesting a grant of $25,000. First, we'll add critical e-commerce and content development to our website, and we will launch an extensive marketing campaign to expand our network and partnerships. The initial grant has greatly benefited our company, and we were able to develop a much stronger website platform, as well as launching advertising and social media campaigns to dramatically increase our reach. And we also cover many legal fees and operating expenses.
The contemporary invests in the human capital of the next generation, and we're building a movement today. All that we ask is for you to join us. Thank you.
Final set of questions from the judges.
All right, I have a question for you guys. I think it's a good idea. I like the idea of giving a platform to millennials, especially across universities. My number one question for you guys is how do you source the content? Is it all unique to your platform? And then your number one differentiator is your editorial standards and the quality of the content. How do you make sure that that's vetted, especially as you start to grow and expand?
Yeah, definitely. So the first question first. So over the summer, we were able to contact numerous people who are the heads of different publications around the country, and several of the people who are already involved in those publications, whether they are editors or writers, have decided to come on as writers for the Contemporary. So the idea is that we bring the best people from all over the country, hopefully, into one platform. So not only are we doing that, we're also reaching out to departments like political science, international studies, economics, and things that are in the public affairs realm so that we can get the best content that the teachers recommend to us. So once we do that, we develop a partnership with them so that each of those people can write on a bi-weekly basis. So it's not too much of a burden, but it also allows them to work pretty consistently on the content. And then the second question was about editorial standards. So the way that we ensure that that happens is that we have a very set list of what we are doing, and we understand exactly all the components that go into those things. So it can't be sensationalistic, it needs to have well backed up data, it should have some sources that are peer reviewed. All of these components are things that we look for in our editorial standards, and even if we get larger, we will ensure that everybody who's trained as a part of the Contemporary will have those same standards. The reason why the Odyssey and the Tab aren't with those same quality guidelines is because they don't have those standards.
Would you guys consider pulling content from newspapers across various universities and putting them together on their site, or you want fully exclusive content?
Well, we were thinking of having people from universities providing us content, and so we do want to expand that entire network. And we also do want to collect data from them, especially survey data, to just ensure that they're interested in our content and to tie their interests and consider them a lot more as well.
And absolutely, we can definitely partner with different publications specifically to have a long-term relationship where we reprint each other's content. But ideally, we just want to have people that are exclusive to the Contemporary because we want that to be our proprietary identity.
So with that, actually, I was looking at your financials, and if that's exactly what you want, and you want people to write specifically for you, then your contract labor and pay for columnists is not at the level at what you want. Like, what I was thinking when I saw your numbers was that you would basically collect articles that were already written and distribute through your platform. But I think that you need to review your numbers if you want.
Yes, and we could give a bit more feedback into how we got those numbers. So we looked at how the Odyssey paid the writers, and it was a very small payment. Like, they had 900 communities, and I believe a week in one community, only one person can get like a $20 gift card. And so we saw that people are writing through this platform, but we know that we have to increase that compensation to our writers, but we'll definitely take that even more into consideration for higher quality.
And the other thing I would say too is one of the, I think, most popular publications right now in the millennial sort of group and really talking about contemporary and subjects is skin. You guys can.
Sure.
And I mean, I know it's a little different, obviously, than what we were talking about, but what is fantastic about it is that it takes really common issues happening today, brings it down, boils it down in very small pieces of information,
Right.
and quick reads. So that's also something that's really interesting because it's really spun off something that's bringing a lot of people together and thinking, and I think that it's also going to be it's really good financially for them as well. So I would look at that model too.
Yeah, we've actually started to launch one of those newsletters that's going to do exactly that in addition to promoting our content. But in addition, I want to add to the question about compensation. So a lot of these people and a lot of these columnists around the country are already writing a lot and not getting paid for it. So, people who write for the Trinitonian don't get paid super well. People who are writing this stuff anyway are not getting paid at all. So we think that a small amount and the incentive of the structure that we have to ensure that it's shared more, people get to view it more, it has the highest quality. We think that that's enough to ensure that we keep our content going.
I would actually investigate that through actual writers. Like, my sister is a writer, and that's one of the biggest problems, is that you won't get quality forever without really paying good writers. So I would just say,
Sure,
think
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, we're not saying that we're not going to pay people more, but we're just saying that we've got something so far.
Relook at those. Yeah.
So more than half of your revenue is falling under university contracts. Can you tell me what you know about that sales cycle?
Yes. In fact, we conducted a survey among Trinity University students, and we found that 70% of them, if given the opportunity to opt in to a limited subscription to the Contemporary, they would do so. So we found that there's very much interest among undergraduate students to have a platform like ours. And so we developed a 4-step action plan that we outlined, just saying that we're going to capitalize on our columnist network by reaching out to them, collaborating, creating a campaign in those universities to get our presence known, and then we will conduct survey analysis and collect that data and then prove that there is demand for a product in order to secure those contracts.
In addition, we could also go through specific academic departments. For example, we could go through the political science department, and which at Trinity has already verbally agreed that they would pay us money. So it isn't just through the large bureaucracy of the university at large. It could be within libraries, academic departments, etc., or some other program that pays for subscriptions.
I guess just a quick follow-up. Do you think you captured that in your costs?
Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
Now, explain your legal structure, your entity structure.
Right, so do you want the process of it or our current structure as of now?
Well, the structure that you're looking to get to.
Right, so we went through a lot. We wanted, under Trinity University, and then as a nonprofit, and then finally settling on a for-profit business. The benefit corporation part of that is because we're providing, we think, a social good. We think we're making a positive impact on dispersed communities across the nation in college campuses. And so we wanted to be independent of stakeholders. If we want to make a move to benefit that social good, we don't want to have stakeholders to be restricted, because that's our main goal, and it's always has been. That's why we kind of went to nonprofit at first, because we thought that the educational aspect of nonprofits would fit with us, but we want to be self-sustainable, and we just don't know if we can rely on donations and grants and things like that. So we think that for-profit is best with that benefit corporation kind of category.
But is it a pure for-profit, or I was hearing that something that a for-profit, non-profit deal, or?
Right, so that when I was talking about that, sorry if that was confusing, it was just kind of detailing the journey, because it was it was very defining for us as an organization. But that's out of the window. Right now it's for-profit.
Okay, it's a pure.
Yeah, sorry if that was confusing. I was just trying to illustrate that. Yes, sir. Yeah.
But along with that, we think that our driving motive is generating the social impact. So that is our first priority, and that's why we want to become a benefit corporation.
So, just a question. There are earned income nonprofits, so I don't know, so you can charge whether your legal status, you're not limited to that. So I love what you're doing. My big question is business model, so that's where I'm wrestling, and I'm wondering, your business model has no advertising or sponsorship in it, or any other type of philanthropic endeavor, and I was wondering, that seems, I don't know any other exemplars that are like that, trying to do what you're doing, particularly trying to do something good. Normally that's a philanthropic piece.
Right, and part of our long-term model, we are thinking of connecting with a lot of sponsors that we know that are out there that want to promote civic engagement. And so we're going to seek out a lot of those sponsors, especially like other organizations in like Politico Fact, and also the Country Club, the Rotary Club here in San Antonio. So we're going to connect with a lot of the sponsors, and that's why we believe the launching event will also be critical to reach out to a lot of these organizations.
Especially after this election cycle, there's going to be a lot of organizations that want to show that they care about meaningful political dialogue that is more focused on bringing everyone in. So we think that organizations with an identity interested in doing that would be interested in being associated with us.
Last question.
So, how do you, again, it's kind of a question, how do you keep score on social good? Is it the number of articles published, or what is the...
Great. I'll give you one example. So we had 2 articles that came out in the past week about Trump supporters. The question was, what happens to Trump supporters after Trump either wins or loses the election? So one article written by a Trinity University student said, it's actually the role of the Trump supporters to accept the rest of America. The person from McAllister said, no, we, the rest of America, have to accept the Trump supporters. So diametrically opposed views, right? They see each other's article, and Emmett, who's at McAllister, emails Brendan, and he asks if they can collaborate on an article so that they can, show how their views have changed as a result of seeing each other's opinion. So that's just one example. So when I say our editorial philosophy is to drive political dialogue towards the center, I mean that in a very concrete way. So that's one example. We also think that conversations generated on college campuses are one of them, articles published, events, things of that nature.
Please join me in thanking the contemporaries. We now, the judges and myself, will adjourn upstairs in the Entrepreneurship Suite to discuss the teams. Hopefully we will be in a position to award a big check. So please enjoy more food, there is more drink, and we'll be joining all of you shortly. The judges can follow me upstairs to the Entrepreneurship Suite.